So good day everyone, and this is our second session on these. Basically, we're trying to decipher some ways of reducing screen time. So this topic caters to a very specific group of activities that we are trying to highlight amongst parents, guardians, caretakers for our young patients. So it specifically deals with improving hand-eye coordination and we offer some alternatives. So I take this opportunity and I present the pediatric specialists of India. I thank our entire group for giving me this opportunity. So let us begin. So I've dealt with a lot of examples in this, but there are no financial interests. This is just some pointers, okay, not specific to any particular company or the sports or games that we discuss. So the goal here, our ultimate goal in the medical field, is to attempt to relieve suffering of disease. This can be physical, mental, spiritual, in the form whatsoever. In our particular topic here, we hope to reduce the screen time. Now, we all know that the online world is now very much a part of our lives, and especially for children, the involvement of online schooling due to the pandemic is probably going to persist in some way or the other. So here we offer some alternatives in the form of activities which improve physical hand-eye coordination, or basically any eye and motor coordination or sensory coordination with our motor activities. This would help, we hope, to reduce the screen time and the screen dependency of our children. Now, many parents, guardians, caretakers already are aware about the many ways. This is simply a reminder, and we hope that it sensitizes our audience to accept all these activities in a manner. Okay, so the objective specifically being some reminders of dangers of screen time, the recommendations. Some of this we have already dealt with in our previous topic. The hand-eye activities we have divided in something like preschool, junior school, and higher levels. Some general tips and options for care. So in our previous presentation, we discussed the dangers of the screen time, the recommendations by various medical bodies about the maximum screen time by various ages, the options for minimizing harm, like postures, other alternatives, online school, and I. Early signs to pick up, that is the danger signs when you should refer to a pediatric specialist or a pediatric ophthalmologist. The care options available to you, and you can review this link for the previous presentation. So an overview of the hand-eye activities. So what is a hand-eye activity? It's basically reaching out for an object after visualization, which is an important ocular milestone in the child's development. So for a palm-sized toy, it starts around 3 to 4 months of age, and it can take around 2 to 3 years to find a coordinated activity. So two stereopsis in terms of very fine activities, it might take up to 6 years. Now, it is necessary for further development of the eye fixation along with fine motor and gross motor activities. Now, we should remember that there are age-appropriate activities which benefit the overall growth of senses as well as it helps in greater involvement of the caretakers. Now, this was one of the alternatives briefed in our previous presentation, and we expound on the same to offer some suggestions during this online era. It is also important for treating lazy eye, as such activities during the patch time of the better eye allow greater improvement of the vision in the affected open eye. So coming to the first age group, infants and toddlers. Now, what all the activities that can be done? So placing objects of interest within the reach of the young infant. These can be colorful toys which preferably should have less sound. Now, why less sound? Because we want the eye and the perception through visualization to improve. Now, many a times there are rattles and the noisy toys which attract the child's attention due to the sound, but we want the eye to improve here. Okay, so the other stuff, build a tower of blocks which baby can knock down with his own hand. Then movement oriented toys like a rolling rotating bear, soft fans, rolling balls. So here are some of the examples. These are almost without sound but very useful, and they basically pull the attention of the children, and of course a block which can be broken down. Now preschool and early schooling age. Now football, because it's such a large object and the ability to put a ball into a particular goalpost, this is technically not a hand eye, but it's a motor eye activity, and it's a very fruitful activity at this age. Then of course the classical ones, drawing, coloring, connecting dots, finger painting. crafting, stringing beads, laces, ribbon works. All these are very much attractive with this age group. And remember, we are and in these examples, basically we are trying to wean the child as much away from the online screen time as possible. Clayworks is a very useful and a very good activity, and of course, puzzles and blocks. So clay, because it helps to stimulate the imagination of children, which is a very important activity at this age, early school. Okay, and of course puzzles, again stimulating the coordinated activity. Here's a short clip of football. This is of course from an old video game, but basically such a large ball by the children in a coordinated and a controlled environment is very much useful in this. Okay. Coming to the classical school years, carom, a very important and very neglected sport, sadly, in our times, but it should be encouraged. It really helps to draw children away from screen times. Pen fights, marbles, board games with activity. Now, board games come in a lot of variety. Here we are specifically talking about board games which have some kind of a physical involvement by the children. So this can be in the form of putting counters in a particular hole or a spot, fishing board games, or board games which have a basket and a ball, stuff like that. And of course, the classical chalkboard. Then coming to defense sports. So school years is where we should start stressing upon defense sports. Can be in the form of any karate or MMA or whatever that you wish your children to get into. But this is an important time to start this. Okay, balancing on a beam, juggling, and of course outdoor activities, gardening. This also encourages the environmental uh, awareness of the child for future children who are, we hope, that become environmentalists. Coming to the classical ones, other sports like table tennis, a basket catch, throwing and catching a ball or a disc. Then of course Lego toys. So as the children are growing, we want to make the eye perception become finer. So earlier what we had blocks, now we go into finer blocks like Legos, sewing, knitting, sculpting. And then coming to science projects. The science projects again come in a variety of forms. In schools also these are generally demonstrated. What we try to encourage our parents to indulge in is to improve the involvement of children by having something like a solar panel based toys, and then those experiments that which can be performed. And of course instruments to play, whatever the children like, drums, sticks, anything which basically you want the child to see a particular area and then act. So the carom board, we miss these since in our times, but it's a very good hand-eye activity. And of course the classical Lego toys. The chalkboard is again a very neglected thing, but this particular involvement with the chalk and the board should be continued. It also helps to encourage the imagination of the children. And of course, this is what I was talking about. Uh, this is a classical origami with combined with a science project. This is actually done by myself. So you can see the solar panel here and the origami attached. Basically, we want the children to do stuff like this so that they have an acumen for future environmentalism as well as craft. Coming to the adolescence group, this is a very difficult time and difficult area for our guardians or caretakers to wean children off of screen. But still, we should try, especially with the pandemic. We hope coming to an end, we can go into outdoor sports like lawn tennis, then target-based sports like archery, shooting. And of course, this age is where the parents should stress upon having some kind of life-based skills taught to the children. So this can be cooking, trekking, electrical circuiting, tailoring. Again, complex and fine activities which involve hand-eye coordination like embroidery, complex origami, toy designing. So if you have children, adolescents with younger siblings, they can design toys for the young siblings. In adult coloring, it's a very fine form of coloring. And of course, see, now I know we are trying to wean children off of screen, but remember that it is inevitable that you have some kind of involvement with the screen time. So the better alternative is to have a desktop based system where you can involve the children in digital arts. And of course, if you so this last part is more for again improving lazy eye. So lazy eye needs a very fine kind of a stimulus. which is based upon finer activities. So this is again very useful in such games like fighting, FPS. So here are some stuff. Any racket-based sports is very good. Table tennis in younger ages, and lawn tennis, badminton in higher ages. This is what I was talking about. This is again made by myself. This is like designing a toy for younger children. And of course, electrical circuitry, a bit of carpentry combined with painting, again by myself. You should basically try to encourage whatever the children takes interest in. Coming to some general tips. So inspire the young minds by performing yourself. So basically, children copy what they see in others from a younger age group. Of course, when they become older, they will diversify on their own. Involve other members in the family, or their surroundings, the siblings, the teachers, even friends. Now, keep changing the activity to avoid boredom. This is very important. No matter how concentrated the child will be, they will get bored of the same activity, irrespective of how fun that activity was in the beginning. So you need to keep changing. Okay, age appropriate ones help. Options for care, again, just very classically, charity begins at home. We should become role models for children, and of course, strictness has to be important. Now, a lot of families face this trouble because of their nuclear families, a single child, but we cannot pamper them because in the long run, that is very harmful for the children. We have to be vigilant but not fearful. So watch for the warning signs, don't neglect, be approachable to children but not overprotective. Early consult with specialists when suspected issues, and don't delay thinking and will become better. Our group people, pediatric ophthalmologists, both in Mumbai and myself in Navi Mumbai. Here is the link to our website. You can see these same in the captions below. Thank you.